In response to COVID-19, PSP is offering virtual fitness to Canadian Armed Forces members. By using social media platforms, the virtual fitness classes tailored to Canadian Armed Forces personnel become accessible to all. Participants who are not Canadian Armed Forces members recognize and acknowledge that their age, health status, and physical fitness level are unknown. It is entirely up to each individual to assess their own ability to participate in this class. Since it is preferable to consult your physician before beginning any exercise program, we invite all participants who are not Canadian Armed Forces members to consult the Get Active Questionnaire of the Canadian Society of Exercise Physiology and reference its document. If you experience any pain or difficulty during the exercises presented to you in this video, it is recommended that you stop and consult your healthcare provider. If CAF members sustain an injury during this video, please remember to fill out a CF98. Hello, I'm personal trainer Jesse Bird with the crew over at Four Wing Cold Lake. Today, we're going to go through a force conditioning class. All you're going to need are a pair of comfortable shoes, some workout clothing, a bottle of water, and of course your favorite music to play alongside this video. I'm not going to play any music because everyone has different tastes, so you play what moves you, and we'll go from there. Now for your equipment, what we're going to do is we're going to use some more at-home stuff. So we're going to use either backpacks, suitcases, gym bags, whatever you can find. If you have a sandbag at home, weigh extra points there, but we don't really need it. We can also just use what we got. So for me, I'm going to use a gym bag here that I've filled full of weights. I got some dumbbells in there and some plates, so I'm good to go. If you don't have anything like that at home, you can always use books, jugs full of water, anything with weight that's going to be safe. Just make sure that it's not going to affect the handles or anything on the bag. You don't want anything to rip or tear. Make sure your equipment's always in good condition. All right, cool. So, well, without further ado, we're just going to jump right in. We're going to start off with a 5-minute circuit here, doing some dynamic movements, warming up our muscles, getting our blood flowing, getting that heart rate up. After that, we're going to go one exercise at a time, and I'll just explain as we're going. Okay, let's jump in. Oh, hang on, let me just move our bag out of the way. Okay, here we go. We've got our timer on, and we're going to start off doing some high knees here. Warming up those joints, getting that blood flowing. From here, we're going to go into butt kicks. So bring that heel right up to the glutes. A little further back so you can see all of me. Good, good. Next, chest swings. Oh, if your joints are loud like mine, that's okay. Oh, we want to get all those cricks and creaks out now while we're warming up. As long as there's no pain, that's the golden rule. All right, next up, we're going to do a couple lateral steps. Go off to the side, back to neutral, off to the side, back to neutral, back and forth, just like this. Now, in day-to-day life, we don't often move like this, so it's a good idea to add the lateral plane into your training session. If you think about the sandbag lift during the force test, you have to do this exact motion, so we want to practice up a bit. Awesome. Now, 2 chest to floors. So all the way down to the floor, hands up, back up, just like in the force test. Awesome. Okay, back to our high knees. So we're just about at 2 minutes now. We want to just keep on moving, get that blood flowing, start working up a bit of a sweat. Next up, butt kicks. Good. Good, good. Okay, chest swings next. Coming up here, we've got our lateral steps. Just a couple more of these. Good. And back to our high knees. That was a quick round. We're at just a little over 3 minutes now. Onto our butt kicks. And chest swings. And this time we're going to add some squats into here. Let's do 3 squats. And onto our lateral steps. Good, good. And onto our high knees here. Almost called these butt kicks. We've got under 30 seconds left here, so after a couple more of these high knees, we'll add some butt kicks. Take some nice deep breaths. Now I can feel it already. I'm starting to feel warm. Hoping you are too. I'm thinking if you're moving through that whole time, more than likely are. Getting our bodies primed and ready, those muscles ready to do some work. There we go. Okay, let's just take a moment, have a quick sip of water, and then we'll be on to our first exercise. Okay, so first up, we're going to do some sumo squats while holding on to our bag. Now, for these, they directly carry over to our sandbag lift. Normally when people are doing the sandbag lift, they're either squatting or they're deadlifting. Today we're going to do both. We're going to start off with our squats. Now, if you're using a gym bag or a backpack that touches the floor before you're able to squat all the way down, this is a good thing. This is going to challenge the body in a different way than normal. Think of it like this. When you're at the bottom of your squat, usually you have weight, but if you're suddenly relieved of that weight, the body is not going to be quite used to that. It's going to give you a chance to work on that range, that bottom of the squat, which is a very good thing. So, hopefully you have a bag like that, and you're going to feel the difference here. We're going to jump right in. We're going to do 10 of these, and then we're going to rest for 30 seconds. Try to follow my tempo. I'm going to go at a nice slow pace, trying to go for control, really trying to activate my muscles as much as I can, one at a time. Getting those glutes firing, the quads going, keeping my feet flat. All right, let's jump in. Okay, so before I start, we'll just go over some quick principles of any squat. So the first part of our squat is with our hips. We want to send those hips as far back as we can before bending the knees. This is going to prevent us from going too far forward, which is not a very friendly angle for the knees, ankles, or the hips. Other than that, I'm going to keep my hands right in the middle of the bag, going into a sumo style with just a little bit of a wider stance. And I'm going to keep my core tight, which is going to help keep my back straight. Okay, let's jump in. Okay, so got our bag here. Nice wide stance, sending those hips back. That bag is going to touch the floor before I'm at the bottom of the squat, but that's okay. Like I was saying, this is just a different way to add stimulus for the muscles. If you've ever seen bodybuilders use chains while doing the bench press, that's a similar idea. It adds weight as we come up and takes it down at the bottom, which is the opposite, of what normally happens in a more traditional sense. Okay, we're just going to do a couple more of these. I've lost count because I'm chatting away. We'll do 2 more. Squeezing those glutes. Excellent. Okay, I'll leave that weight on the floor. Now we're going to rest up for 30 seconds and then we're going to jump right back in for set number 2. So I'm going to grab a sip of water. I encourage you to do the same. Ooh. All right. So in about 10 seconds here, we're going to jump in for set number 2 of our sumo squats. All right, here we go. Remember to have a nice tight grip on that weighted bag. And 10. Whew. All right, excellent work. All right, so same as before. We're going to rest for 30 seconds and then we're going to go back into it for set number 3. So I encourage you to grab some water. I'm going to grab a sip right now too. Whew. All right, cool. So in about 10 seconds here, we're going to start up our 3rd set of our sumo squats. Once we are all done with these, we're going to move on to something new. So let's really give it our all. Okay, here we go. Wide stance, feet flat, core tight, sending those hips back, squeezing the glutes at the top. For squats, I like to breathe in on the way down and breathe out as you come up. The general rule is you want to breathe out on the exertion. We got 5 more here. Last one. Excellent. Ooh. Okay, so we'll put that down for now. Good work. Okay, we're going to rest up here for at least 30 seconds. If you need a little bit more time, keep in mind you can always pause the video, add an extra 20 seconds or whatever you need. But we don't want to wait too long because we want to make sure that our heart rate is still up. Okay. Next up, we're going to do 1-arm rows with our bag. We're going to stick to the same reps, doing 10 on each side, and we're going to do a staggered stance as well. So, what I mean by a staggered stance is I'm going to have 1 foot forward and 1 foot back. Now, that back foot you can have up on your toes, but for this one I'm going to keep it flat. Whatever works best for you and feels more comfortable. Ideally, you want to do whatever's going to make you feel stable, okay? That's going to depend on ankle range of motion and stuff like that. Okay, now, while I've got that weight, I'm going to try to keep my core tight. I'm going to do my best to avoid any kind of rotation. I don't want to be twisting and really heaving on it like I'm pulling on a lawnmower. I want to try to keep everything tight and still. Really focusing on just this arm, moving that weight. Oh, another thing too is depending on what side you are for, let me say that again. I'm right-handed, so I'm going to use my left hand to start with, just because it's always a good idea to start with your non-dominant hand, because for whatever reason, if I can only get 8 on one side, then I only want to do 8 on the other. I don't want to get 10 and then only make it to 8. Just as a general tip. All right, cool. Let's jump in. Okay, so, and for these one-arm rows, we're working on our pulling muscles. So this is going to be relevant for the drag at the end. Some people do really well with the drag. Others, it's more of a challenge. So this kind of an exercise is going to help with that. Here we go. Taking a staggered stance. My other hand is going to be on my hip. Core tight. Four left on this side. Excellent, excellent. Okay, now we'll switch right over to the other side. Get back to that staggered stance now on the opposite end. That's 5, halfway there. Ooh, right on, right on. Ooh, jeez. Okay, so we're gonna rest up for 30 seconds and then we're gonna do another set of those. See, that was pretty decent, eh? Giving the arms their own chance to really work on their own without the other one helping. Did you notice that one side felt a little easier? Was one side a little harder? Was it about the same? Try to really listen to your body as you're working out because it's giving you signals all the time. Oh, I'm gonna grab a sip of water here. Nice couple of deep breaths. Oh, and then we're gonna jump right back in. Boom. All right, let's jump in. Starting off again with my left side here. I know it might look like it's the opposite because of the camera, but believe me, this is my left. It's just, it inverts it, so. All right, here we go. Ready? Should go a little bit further back. You can see my feet here. Here we go. Four left on this side. Excellent. And we'll flip over. That's 7, 3 more. Excellent. Get some. Whew. All right, so same as before. We're gonna rest up for 30 seconds here, grabbing some water, having some slow breaths, and we got one more set of those. Whew. Oh, good stuff, good stuff. Okay, now here we're gonna take just a little bit of extra time. Give us these 10 seconds here, and then we're jumping in on our third set. All right, here we go. Last set of our one arm rows. That's 7. Last 3 reps. Excellent. Same thing on the other side. Ooh. Last 2. Awesome. Great work, everyone. Okay, so we're all done with our one arm rows. Ooh. Let's take a look at our time. We're gonna rest up here for about 30 seconds, just like before. And then we're gonna jump into our last, oh no, not our last, our second last exercise. Oh, okay, so we can talk about that one a little bit here before we begin. Now, we started off with our Sumo Squats. And remember I said that those relate to our sandbag lift. Well, today is the sandbag lift is really the superstar. That's what we want to focus on. We're also going to do some deadlifts. So like I was saying, when people do the sandbag lift, often they're either squatting or deadlifting. A lot of times they don't even think about it and they go back and forth between the two. This way we can take the movement, we can practice it, get better at it, and then next time you do your force test, hey, boom, it'll be easy peasy. You're going to ace it. All right, let's jump in here with our deadlifts. Okay, so for our deadlifts, we want to try to keep our feet flat. We're going to keep our core as tight as we can. Just like with our squats, we're going to send those hips as far back as we can, but we're not going to let the back round up top. We're going to keep everything nice and tight, keeping that back straight. Now, when it comes to deadlifting, people ask me all the time, how deep should I go? Now, for these ones here, our rule is going to be knuckles to kneecaps. That's just a good general rule. All right, so what I mean by that is, by the time my knuckles meet my kneecaps, now I've got full activation of all the muscles that we're trying to work here. If I do go deeper, for sure I am going to get more of an intense workout, and you may get more out of it, but it all depends on your form as well. It's not worth going deeper if it means compromising your form, maybe hurting yourself, or even just doing it in a way that's not effective. Okay, so really pay attention to what your body's telling you and go with it. Okay, so we're going to jump in here. We're going to do 10 deadlifts with our weighted bag. Here we go. So we got our bag here, both hands. Oh, and by the way, if you want to make this a little harder, you can also do one-handed for 5 and then switch over. But I'm going to start off with both hands. Okay, both hands, wide stance, tight core, sending the hips back, squeezing the glutes up at the top. 3 more here. Excellent work. Ooh. Okay, let's see how our time's doing. So we're going to rest for 30 seconds, and then we're going to do our second set. Now, I didn't mention it before, and I probably should have, but for our going forward here, the difference between our squats and our deadlift, well, there's a few different things, but one main one is the bend of the knees. So when we're squatting, remember we want to bend our knees after we've sent our hips back. For our deadlifts, we want to try to keep our knees as straight as we can. Not overlock, just that slight bend in them. So just like so. So if you take a notice during our second set, I'm going to do my best to absolutely keep my legs as straight as I can. While doing this, you're really going to feel it in the back and the hamstrings. It's totally normal. You're also going to feel it with the muscles along the back that go up and down the spine. That's also why it's so important to keep that back straight. We don't want anything bad to happen to those muscles. They're very important. Keep everything held. All right, let's jump in on our second set. Okay, here we go. I'll do a side view again. You know what, I'm going to do this other side though. And this time I'm going to do one arm, just like I was talking about before. So if you want to challenge yourself, do exactly what I'm doing. If you just want to do the 2 hands on the bag, that's totally fine too. Okay, here we go. And that's 5. Then come down and switch grips. Excellent, excellent. Whew. Okay, so we're going to rest here for 30 seconds and then finish up our last set. Deadlifting is a very important movement to practice. What we're doing here is we're really focusing on the hip joint, and we're trying to hinge at the hip is the term. So basically what that means is really trying to have this whole area of the body be the part that's bending and moving while keeping that back straight. See, I didn't think about it for a moment, and the first thing I wanted to do was go into that rounded position. That's just the body trying to do whatever's easier. But just because it's easier doesn't mean that it's safe or effective. Boom, just like that. Whew. Oh, okay, so I hope you're feeling good. We got one more set of our deadlifts left, and we're coming up to the end of our workout here pretty soon, but we still got some stuff. We're still going to get some sweat going and get these muscles working. Okay, let's finish up with our last set of our deadlifts. Okay, here we go. This time, I'll look forward here. Oh, and I'm going to do the one-handed approach as well. Ready? That's 5. Now we'll switch grips. Excellent. Ooh. All right. And that one is our third set. Okay. Oh, so we are all done with those for right now. We're going to do just one more exercise here. Now we're going to do some farmer's carries. So part of our force test is the shuttle run. Now during the shuttle run, remember you're holding a sandbag for half of it and you throw it down and you're running for the other half. Now we're working out inside with limited space, so we're going to focus more on the loaded carry part of it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my weighted bag, carry it with one hand in a suitcase style, keeping my core tight and everything as even as I can. that bag is going to want to drag me down, but I'm going to do my best to keep my shoulders level and everything nice and tight. I'm just going to go back and forth here between my living room and kitchen. So whatever space you have, I recommend you use. We want to go for about like, I don't know, 10 meters or so. If you have more than that, then that's totally fine and better. But yeah, we're going to grab it and we're going to do what we can here. So let's do this. Okay, so I'm going to start off right here and I'm going to walk some laps. Hang on, I'm just going to clear my route a little bit. I'm going to walk laps back and forth with a nice steady pace. Okay, let's jump in. Here we go. Another thing I'm going to do is once I get to the other end, I'm going to switch arms. Okay, now I've got it in my right arm. Switch over. So that's 2 laps so far. Lap number 4, done. That's already 6. We're going to do 2 more here. Awesome. Okay, now we're only going for 8 reps here. Ooh, grab some water. We're going to rest up for our 30 seconds just like before. And then afterwards we're going to do 2 more sets. This one is going to be our last exercise of the day, and after that we're going to cool down. Ooh. So let's talk a little bit more about this exercise just while we're finishing up our rest. If you think about it, we're working on our grip strength, which is also going to be the muscles of our forearms. Boom. On top of that, this one is also great for challenging the core. We're doing it on one side, so that side of the body has to work hard, and so does the other side, keeping everything even. And because there's an imbalance there, that allows the muscles that maybe don't usually do a whole lot of work to get a little extra attention that they need to strengthen up. All right, here we go. Set number 2. We're going for 8 laps here again. Nice and slow and controlled. Two so far. That's already 4. That's 6. We got 2 left. Remember to keep that core braced. Excellent work. Ooh. All right, we got just one last set here. After our last set, we're going to cool down. Hey, and then that's another workout for the books. Oh, I'm going to grab a quick sip of water. I encourage you to do the same if you need. All right, folks. Let's jump into our last set, and then we'll start our cool down. Here we go. It's our first 2 laps. That's our first 4. Already halfway there. Last 2 to go. All right. Whew. Okay, excellent work. So I'll take a couple seconds here to have a breather. If you need to grab some water, grab some water. Otherwise, I'm going to jump right into our stretches, starting off with a forward fold, stretching out our hamstrings. Let's jump into it. Okay, so do a wide stance here. Go as far forward as I can. Oh. So I have my feet on my ankles right now. You can also put them on the floor if that feels more comfortable, or just let them hang. It's up to you. We want to try to keep our feet flat though, especially with those heels on the ground. Oh, to really make sure we lengthen and stretch out those hamstrings. Oh. And breathe nice and slow. Good work. Oh, come on out of that one nice and slow. Next up, let's grab onto our ankle. We're going to stretch out our quad. Oh, aiming that knee at the floor. Oh. Keep in mind with this one, you can do it up against a wall or holding onto a chair if you don't feel stable. You can also lay down on your side and do it on the floor as well. Good, okay. Other side, same thing. Ooh. Good, come on out of that. Okay, next up, so with our arms, we'll go out as far as we can with our chest. Oh, squeezing those shoulder blades together. From here, with our hands, we want to interlace our fingers, put that right behind our head. Now the 2 movements here, we're going to use our head to push back into our hands and also open up at the elbows. Oh, this one is an excellent chest stretch. Good stuff. Oh, shake that off. Come on out of that one. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me. That's our class for today. Once again, I'm personal trainer Jesse Bird from the PSP crew over at Four Wing Cold Lake. And thank you so much for joining me on this video and for working out with me. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.